Hey everyone, how's it going? For today's presentation, let's take an up-close and personal, in-depth look at the all-new and all-electric 2014 BMW i3. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth review of the i3. We'll power it up, talk about the electric powertrain, take it on a test drive, and not to mention talk about the different trim levels and show you a bunch of the unique aspects of both the interior as well as exterior. And before we begin, I'd like to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Flow BMW, located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and film the all-new 2014 BMW i3. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and power it up and get started. Now, just like the rest of the modern BMW lineup, the i3 also features a standard Comfort Access Smart Key system. So, all you have to do is just keep the key fob in your pocket, and you're able to lock and unlock the vehicle by using the handle's touch sensors. To lock, just tap the little ribbed portion. One beep indicates locking, then after waiting a second, just grab the handle. There's a touch sensor located behind, and it automatically unlocks it. Two beeps indicate the unlocking. The window will also come down slightly to help clear the frame, and go back up to create a tight seal. The exterior color of this i3 is a bright, very unique metallic orange known as solar orange. It also features frozen gray exterior accent trim, nicely complemented by an upgraded interior with combination wool cloth and leather upholstery, all a part of the Giga trim level. Now the Mega, Giga, and Terra are the vehicle's trim levels, otherwise known as worlds. I'll talk about the different equipment levels as well as more a little later in the video. And along with that smart key system, the i3 also features standard push-button ignition, located in the cluster to the right-hand side of the steering column. All you have to do to start is just depress the brake pedal and hit the button to go. Simple as that. Now, similar to the system used in the Tesla Model S, when the i3 is sitting still in its parking gear and the door is closed, it'll remain on. But if you don't have your foot on the brake and you open the outside door, the vehicle automatically goes into its accessory power mode. Notice the ignition button is illuminating red and the vehicle continues to beep, letting you know that it's gone into accessory mode. To drive, you have to repower on the vehicle while putting your foot on the brake and then close the door. The i3 comes standard with speed proportional electromechanical rack and pinion power steering, fed through a very unique two-spoke leather-wrapped steering wheel that gives the appearance that it's floating mid-air, a common theme found throughout the interior, especially with the infotainment display in the center of the dash. The detailing is quite good, with supple leather and satin silver accenting highlighting the circumference of the wheel. The black spokes house all of your multifunction controls, whereas the BMW badging on the airbag cover and exterior are highlighted by blue rings. While the electric assist steering doesn't transmit a whole lot of feedback from the road, it is still quite smooth and very precise, reacting quick to abrupt maneuvers. Therefore, it's quite easy to steer at both low and high speeds. But what's even more impressive is how tight the turning radius is, giving you a lot more maneuverability in close quarters. The vehicle's brake energy regeneration system is calibrated in a way that it begins building energy as soon as you let off the accelerator. The Tesla Model S also has a similar system that you can activate within the vehicle's settings. With the i3, it's much more noticeable and cool at the same time, as you feel the car slowing itself down as if you were lightly touching the brakes. So much so that once you get used to it, you'll likely just modulate the accelerator for most driving, unless more force is needed with extra brake innervation. If you time the stops right, the i3 will completely stop itself through the brake regen system, not only in traffic but even on a hill. The i3 puts the power to the rear wheels through a single-speed transaxle like in a traditional electric car, but this one's routed through a very unique column-mounted rotary gear selector. To put the vehicle in drive, just put your foot on the brake and tip the switch forward. Half a click back for neutral, and then all the way back for reverse. To put it in park, just hit the P on top. Power also comes on smooth and very fluid, being that there's no drivetrain lag. Really, the only audible thing that you can hear is the slight whirring from the electric motor. Granted, it is a lot more quiet in this vehicle than some of the other electric cars currently on the market. Once you put the vehicle in reverse, your backup camera automatically appears and works in tandem with the vehicle's parking sensors, obstacle marking, as well as adjustable backup lines. Also available is an extra parking assistant which allows the i3 to parallel park itself completely autonomous without any driver input, simultaneously controlling the steering, brakes, and throttle. And so, we'll go and flip on the automatic adaptive LED headlamps, as well as the hazards. Both windows are fully automatic as standard. And we're going to check out the exterior. Over the past decade, we've seen automakers across the board changing the way they build cars with pioneering advances in economy, technology, and performance. Of those three, the newest paradigm of automotive design is economy. With general increases in fuel prices and concerns with environmental protection, automakers have introduced a wealth of technology to retain power while boosting economy. The 40-mile mark seems to be the magic number in the gas-fed world, but to further exceed that in this market, many manufacturers have started adopting hybrid electric technology, combining a traditional combustion engine with an electric motor. Unfortunately, hybrid technology still has its limitations. Even though emissions may be down, it doesn't always yield a tremendous difference in mileage, even when compared to some clean diesel alternatives. This is largely due to weight, as the battery packs required can be quite heavy. Adding a hybrid powertrain to a car that wasn't designed to be lightweight from the get-go increases the burden of the electric system to combat the weight and still be able to produce adequate power with EV range. That's where lightweight materials come in, such as aluminum, carbon fiber, versus traditional steel. Strength without weight is the key. Extended range electric vehicles, though, such as the Chevrolet Volt and Fisker Karma, allow a certain initial mileage of full EV driving before an internal combustion engine kicks in to assist. The Nissan Leaf then strolled onto the block as one of the first practical full EV cars with a range almost triple that of a Volt. BMW isn't a stranger to hybrids for those of you already familiar with their active hybrid offerings, but in recent years, they've also been working on an all-new eco-minded sub-brand known as BMW i. The i3 is the first all-new model debut and will soon be followed by the highly anticipated i8 hybrid sports car. The i3's concept is revolutionary, not only in its design but its execution. An all-new fully electric vehicle with optional range extender unlike anything else in the BMW fleet. It sports an architecture BMW describes as LifeDrive. LifeDrive essentially means that both the passenger compartment and drivetrain are two self-contained separate structures, which are then joined together to create the vehicle you see here. Using a combination of lightweight materials such as carbon fiber, aluminum, and even magnesium, the i3 already has a significant weight advantage over the all-electric Nissan Leaf by around 450 pounds or so. Herein lies the brilliance of the i3. Designers and engineers weren't bound to develop a car using existing steel bodies or chassis components. Everything was designed from scratch to create something different and innovative, all in the name of efficiency. The self-contained chassis, or drive module, is constructed primarily from cast and extruded aluminum components that both lessen weight and increase strength when compared to steel. The 450-pound lithium-ion battery pack has an energy capacity of 22 kilowatts, which is around 38% more than what you get in a Volt, which yields between 80 to 100 miles of regular driving. Like other BMW models, the i3 also has various other driver-adjustable modes that alter the vehicle's profile. There are 3 modes in the i3: Comfort, which is your typical day-to-day mode, Eco Pro, and Eco Pro Plus. Eco Pro modulates performance for more consistent power delivery, while Eco Pro Plus limits the vehicle's top speed to 55 miles an hour unless you floor it, and it even cancels out the AC, helping boost the range by an additional 12 and 25% respectively. The battery pack sits in the center of the chassis, just ahead of the electric motor, and can take up to 3 hours to charge using the supplied 7 kilowatt onboard charger, at home using a 220 volt circuit. Of course, charging time will be longer with a standard 120 volt outlet. Using a 440 volt fast charging station can charge it back to 100% in as little as 30 minutes. The passenger compartment or life module is the second key structure and weighs just 265 pounds thanks to the carbon fiber construction. The exterior panels are composite, whereas the rear hatch bears a large piece of glass which sits over the tail lamps. Inside, magnesium was used for the dash brace, while the majority of the interior materials are made from either recycled or eco-friendly products. The genius of having the self-contained life module is the fact that there is no intrusion from the drivetrain. essentially yielding a flat floor and an immensely spacious interior for 4 passengers. Center of gravity is also quite low thanks to the carbon on top, and the batteries placed well within the drive module. During assembly, the two halves are then joined together with a combination of high-strength adhesive and the 5 aluminum bolts. Performance numbers include 170 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, with manufacturer-claimed 0 to 60 time of 7.2 seconds and a limited top speed of 93 miles an hour while the motor is spinning at 11,400 RPM. Of course, with no drivetrain lag, the torque is available instantly. Everything from the chassis framework to the control arms and even the bolts that hold the passenger cell to the frame is made of aluminum. The only steel that made its way through was used for the links in the rear suspension. In fact, theoretically, the drive module can actually be driven by itself, as it combines the rear-mounted electric motor, battery pack, suspension, steering rack, and the single-speed transaxle all in one self-contained structure. The 125 kilowatt AC synchronous electric motor is offset to the driver's side and sits towards the rear, with the transaxle sending the power to the rear wheels. It functions with a combination of permanent and switch reluctance electromagnetic fields, helping make it more compact and give it a bit of extra performance than a permanent magnet motor. If desired, the i3 can also be had with an optional range extender, essentially a 650cc 2-cylinder rear-mounted gas-fed engine, which would sit next to the electric motor. It produces 34 horsepower but isn't figured into the total output as it doesn't power the wheels whatsoever. It simply maintains the electric charge, acting as a generator. It includes a 2.4-gallon fuel tank mounted between the front axle and firewall, requiring the bonnet to be popped in order to access for refueling. It also adds a little under 300 pounds to the vehicle's weight. Combined with the range extender, you're able to travel up to 200 miles before having to fill it up again. Overall, the i3 has an even weight distribution between the front and rear axles, but could be slightly rear biased with the gas generator in the back. What I really like about the i3 is the fact that it's different. It doesn't look like anything else, and it doesn't really fit as far as styling wise into the BMW portfolio aside from the traditional kidney grills up front. To each his own as far as the styling is concerned, but I like it because it was designed for a purpose, and it does that purpose well. It's a very open feeling interior, especially with all of the windows. It's a pretty large greenhouse. With a tall seating position, you feel like you're kind of riding above the rest of the traffic in a way, and really overall it's pretty comfortable. The suspension is on the firm side, but it handles itself well for what it is. So combine that with a good acceleration time, rear-wheel drive, as well as a perfect weight distribution, and in my eyes, it still has the soul of the ultimate driving machine, just in a different package than many people may be used to. Overall length is 157.4 inches, with a width of 69.9 inches and a height of 62.1 inches, riding on a 101.2-inch wheelbase. Curb weight for the all-electric version like we have here is around 2,635 pounds. The GigaWorld i3 features a unique set of lightweight forged aluminum alloy wheels with polished face and black accents. They're 19 inches all the way around but measure 5 inches wide up front and 5.5 inches wide in the rear, so they're tall but skinny. Wrapped in modest Bridgestone Acopia 155/70 tires up front and 175/65 tires in the rear, mainly to limit rolling resistance. Even though the tires are tall and skinny, their contact patch is long. Combine that with the spacing of the wheels, and it actually gives you one of the widest EV profiles out there, aside from the Tesla Model S. The 4-wheel disc brakes are ventilated up front, while solid in the rear and clamped down by single-piston sliding calipers. As far as the suspension, it's fully independent with McPherson struts in front and a multi-link rear, with 4-wheel coil springs, twin-tube dampers, and front stabilizer bar. As unconventional as the exterior is, the concept car feel flows throughout the interior, really grabbing your attention. As you would expect from a BMW, build quality is top-notch, especially for this class. The first thing that you'll notice is the lack of B-pillar in the frameless front doors, adding a bit of sporty styling. The rear hinge doors can only be opened once the front doors are open, but this allows for a ton of space for ingress and egress. The coolest aspect of the interior, though, is the use of the alternative textures throughout, namely across the doors and the dash. The black panels are reinforced with Canaf plant fibers, which have more of a hard, coarse, cloth-like texture. They give off a very eco-friendly vibe, especially when paired with the optional open-pore eucalyptus wood panels in the dash. The seat and door fabric is made from recycled plastic bottles, while still feeling like your typical cloth upholstery. Even the optional full leather upholstery is tanned using olive tree extract. This Giga uses a combination of sustainable wool cloth and upgraded leather surfaces. Really, this is a car that takes the eco theme to the extreme. BMW describes the 3 trim levels of the i3 as worlds, beginning with the base Mega to the Giga we have here and the top tier Terra. The Mega comes standard with features such as 19-inch wheels, navigation with connected drive, the onboard 7.4 kilowatt charger, LED exterior lighting, Sensatech leatherette and cloth surfaces with a leather steering wheel. Step it on up to the Giga and you receive another set of 19-inch wheels, combination leather and wool cloth interior, contrast stitching on the steering wheel, universal garage home link, smart key access, optional sunroof, and satellite radio. Finally, the Terra has all the Giga's equipment with yet another set of unique wheels, full leather with textile accents and more use of contrast stitching, and black floor mats. The seats are pretty comfortable overall, with manual adjustments including manual height adjustment for both the driver and passenger side seats. As we continue through the interior, of course, all of your side curtain airbags as standard, and you can actually see some of the exposed carbon fiber coming across the vehicle as well as traveling up towards the firewall. A large one-piece floor mat is standard because, like I said, you don't have the drivetrain hump coming in through, so you have a lot more space. A large dead pedal off to the far left, as well as a full manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. And this brings us to the dash, which is essentially my favorite interior styling cue. Plenty of padded and stitched accents coming across in the light padded material, as well as the plant fiber reinforced panels towards the top and the eucalyptus wood trim. A floating steering wheel like I told you earlier, as well as the floating Idrive system, which I'll show you a little bit later. So let's go ahead and hop on back in and highlight a little bit more of the technology found inside of the i3. Get solid doors, especially without having a B-pillar. Now this i3 features the premium 13-speaker, 360-watt Harman Kardon audio system with a 7-channel digital amplifier. All of that multimedia and entertainment is fed through the newest generation Idrive System, a Multimedia navigation telemetrics interface, and a high-res 8.8-inch LCD display in a floating design for the i3. So without looking too carefully, it doesn't look like it's attached to anything. Such a modern design. Like all other Idrive systems, it's fed through a remote controller located in the center console, with various shortcut keys. Click up, down, left, and right. Push down to select a particular option. You have your option shortcut as well as your back button. But with the newest one, you'll notice the center controller has been redesigned. It now accepts written commands, so in the navigation and other functions, you can like draw an M or O or anything like that. And I'll show that a little bit more in just a little bit. It's a very nice sounding audio system overall. Exactly what you would expect from Harman Kardon. Cloth-lined A-pillars, with your tweeters located down the bottom, as well as side curtain airbags. Hands-free Bluetooth microphone located on either side so the passengers can be heard equally, as well as a grip handle. Of course, padded visors with illuminated vanity mirrors. Right beneath the mirror is the 3-position garage home link. In the top stack here, you have your SOS emergency roadside assistance, as well as activation of your reading lamps and interior illumination. It's all LED. Space was really utilized quite well in the i3 to maximize passenger comfort as well as interior storage space. The dips in the dash allow you to set a phone, a map, or anything like that. The door pockets, as well as plenty of room in the open center area right here for stretching out your leg or anything like that if you got the cruise control set. This little stack of controls right here consists of your other radio settings, including your presets, tune, seek, changing the band, as well as the different modes. Right beneath that is your simple electronic automatic climate control, with standard 3-stage heated seats for both sides, fan speed, temperature, the little digital display, different zones, front and rear defrost, as well as recycling through an air filtration system. Right beneath the hazard switch is the vehicle's intelligent safety systems. Once you press the button, it automatically brings it up on the iDrive screen with the 2 different options: frontal collision warning with the vehicle, as well as pedestrian detection. It'll intervene the brake if necessary, and especially with the pedestrian warning, it's definitely a good thing because the electric car is silent, so unless you're going to be blaring the horn and paying super attention, somebody can just run out in front of you and really not be paying attention. Nice systems for sure. Just a fine example of modern safety technology. The functionality of the Idrive system for the i3 really is no different than any other modern BMW. It's just styled a little bit differently as they've updated over the past few years. The main difference with the i3 is all of the extra functionality you get with the electric system, so you can adjust the different times, settings, rates, and more. So as far as a quick overview, all of your multimedia system like you see here go in between different menus. You have your tone, music collection, which is your hard drive portion where you can load up MP3 files, USB, iPod, auxiliary integration, as well as hands-free Bluetooth streaming of audio. Your navigation and a very easy to see widescreen display with real-time traffic updates, and you can also split yield the radio as well as the navigation, not to mention hands-free Bluetooth telephone. For a more thorough look, click the link in the annotation below or in the description box below. Continuing on down, you have a storage net down below there, cup holder, and there's an extra cup holder underneath the center console here. There's also a little storage tray located around, a 12-volt power outlet, your auxiliary, and USB integration. The center console is also adjustable for height, and you can bring it all the way down. It also has a bit of storage and locks in place for convenience. Comfort Eco and Eco Pro is activated via the switch to the left of the iDrive controller. There's also an electronic parking brake here. Pull up to activate, and put your foot on the brake, push down to deactivate, not to mention a little bit of soft touch material. As far as the steering wheel, across either side you have all of your radio controls, hands-free telephone, and voice commands. Help.
To obtain the voice commands of the displayed panel, say Voice Commands. To obtain general information on voice activation, say Help with voice activation. To obtain important short commands with examples, say.
So it'll walk you through everything so you can become more familiar with the commands. Automatic rain sensing windshield wipers, as well as activating the rear wiper. And on the other side, your cruise control, as well as pre-collision detection system and adaptive cruise control. Your parking lights, turn signal, high beam, as well as driver information system button that shows up in the top left-hand corner of the instrument cluster. With trip, electricity data, and more. Alrighty. Go ahead and power her down. And we're going to check out the back seat. In order to gain access to the back seat, you're going to grab this little satin chrome handle and go ahead and swing the door outward. Same thing for the other side, which I'll show in just a second. You can also grab this little handle and flip the seat forward to make entry and exit a little bit easier. And we'll go over backseat room a little bit more in just a second. One thing that really impressed me about the i3 is how much room there actually was in the back seat. To make entry and exit even easier, there's actually little handles in the front seats that you can pull and bring it forward. Taller individuals might want to watch your head, but as you can see, I'm around 5'10", 5'11". I can easily climb in and out, no problem. It's also a very open feeling interior. This glass back here with its dip down in the middle, while that may be a bit polarizing to some, it does wonders for making the back seat feel more open and not claustrophobic, because this glass is actually a little bit taller than the ones in the front. So, along with the back glass and rear quarter windows, it definitely helps out. The headliner is cut out in the back here as well as the front, which also does wonders for headroom. As far as overall interior space, like I said, I'm around, 5'10", 5'11" on a good day, but I probably have about 4 or 5 inches of leg space depending on the position that you place your legs. There's also a cutout right here with some cloth portion and storage pockets in the back of the seats. Headroom, if I had to guesstimate, probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches. There's also not a lot of hardware under the seats, so you can stick your legs up under a little bit further if you want to stretch out. But these seats, the way they kind of sink down and dip down, they have a nice amount of grip in the lower cushion. There's a little bit of lateral grip up top, but not a whole lot. And overall back support is pretty good in my opinion. You do have 2 cup holders down below here, child seat anchors for both sides, and adjustable headrests. So for better visibility, you can keep them down. Otherwise, bring them up for comfort. Pressing that little button releases them back down. Of course, side curtain airbags for the rear passengers, LED illumination, and a coat hook. Getting out is also quite easy. If you have somebody open up the front door, just push the handle and swing the door out. And we're going to check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we? If you open on up the hatch of the i3, you'll find around 4.7 cubic feet of cargo space, which is modest at best behind the rear seats. You do have some cargo tie-downs, some little storage pockets, a power outlet, and illumination, but the real cargo space comes from folding down the rear seat. In total, it's 40.7 cubic feet, quite a substantial difference. Open up the charging port and you'll see an LED indicator that lights up different colors for different reasons, and that's shown on the cap door. The passenger seat is also fully manual, in addition to manual height adjustment like you would find on the driver's seat. The glove box is hidden underneath the wood panel, and it's also lockable, with illumination and lined in felt. The BMW i3 is a revolutionary product. With innovative architecture, advancements in EV technology, and a striking design, it definitely stands out from the pack, giving more model variety in a rapidly expanding market. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the all-new 2014 BMW i3. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.